him. Well, it's three, so we're going to go ahead so that the other Audra doesn't burn up. Too hot. So, hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Audra DeSorbo, and I am an engagement program manager with NTHS. And also on the call with us is Audra Harris, NTHS advisor at Fayetteville Technical Community College. And I thought two Audras together, which is very abnormal. So I hope that you realize that today is a treat. Before we get started, I want to share a few quick details about the session. So this webinar will last approximately 30 minutes. The first 15 to 20 minutes will be instructional, and the final few minutes will be reserved for Q&A, so giving you a chance to ask questions or share. But first, I'm going to turn the floor over to Audra Harris to talk about tips and tricks that she has found helpful in running a post-secondary chapter. So Audra, take it away.
Will do. All right. Thank you. I was asked to kind of talk about four different areas, recruitment, funds, induction, and activities. To give you a little bit of history, I started Robinson Community College back in 2003. Somewhere between 2003 2006, the president at that time asked for somebody to charter NTHS. So I said, sure. And that began. And so I had a couple different advisors that helped me through the years there. We continually grew, but it was a much smaller college. To give you a comparison, Robinson Community College is probably, when I left, it was probably only about 1,400. At the biggest, when all the mass industry left, was probably only about 3,200 people. An average probably like 18 to 2,200, just to give you an idea. Fayetteville Technical Community College, on the other hand, has over 10,000 curriculum students. So it's rather large. I think it's the third largest in our state, and I'm in North Carolina for those of you in different places. So just telling you a little bit about that. I came on Fayetteville Tech in 2019. They asked me at the end of 2023. So I have about 13 years experience at RCC being an NTHS, and I'm 2.5 years in here. So some of the stuff I did for recruitment back in the day when I was at RCC, we would send out direct emails to those that qualify. I would contact to the IE department, institutional effectiveness person, whoever is on your campus. They could pull a list, and we did it based on then I think we did 3.25 GPA. We wanted you to complete at least 12 hours. We had once a year induction. He would pull that list and then I would send it out, and we kind of did it that way. Here, on the other hand, at Fayetteville Tech, we wanted, even though we're so large, we have a lot of military and different people that are spread out, remote. Some aren't even in the city because we do have some completely online programs. We wanted to increase some of the participation and involvement. So we lowered the induction GPA from 3.25 to 3.0. And I saw where they updated and they allow for even continuing ed or career and technical education courses versus degrees. So we allow those as well. We have several public schools. I'm not sure how many. I don't want to like misquote. Somewhere around 12 that feed in. We have a pretty large high school connections, but not every high school has an NTHS. So even though we're a community college, we allow high schoolers that take classes at our school to take it. We don't care as long as they have a GPA at Fayetteville Tech that's 3.0 or higher, they can join. We do have some from time to time that can transfer, and if they have it from high school, they can transfer for free. There's a form. But to kind of keep that in order, what we do, we have SSE, Student Success and Engagement Watermark System. You can have them create a tag for you at your school if you use that. And then we tagged all new NTHS members as NTHS. So we can sort. It's a good place to be able to pull them all together. I started, instead of using IE department to pull it, because I was having people tell me that they didn't get an email and they qualified, I started pulling it myself. Just be very careful that you actually do filter. Otherwise, you could be sending it to a lot more people. But you can filter for the GPA, you can filter for the program areas, you can filter for all that in SSE. And if you have them tagged, you can take out the ones that are already members. So they're not getting it going, I've already joined, or do I have to join again? So that was very helpful. And we have a different advisor who helps me with the tagging of all these new students. Um, but we send out to our SGA director. We have a chain of command. We can't just send out emails to the whole campus because we're so big and we would inundate people. I could do it at my old school, just send out an email. Anybody who qualifies, please share it in your classes, this, that, and the other. Here, I go through SGA and then they send it out in an email to faculty and staff. They have a different person who has permission to send it out to all the students. So we do send out an email that says, hey, we're accepting new members, and we have a push in the fall. And we do that in the fall for a period of time, usually from somewhere in October to the end of November. And then we take that batch and we send it up to NTHS and Flat Rock, but we don't induct until March. And so now we're in a push right now, and we did it all of February. We'll end sometime next week. And then we have our induction, like I said, in March once a year. But that way they can get in, they can see the resources, they can get the referrals. If there's any scholarships they apply for, they're already in. But to go a little bit more, I reach out to our SGA for the announcements. They send those out. I worked with, and that was a lot, to try to get our own Facebook page because a lot of people will start a Facebook and then not keep it active. And so the way to make my Facebook page work, it's not NTHS. I'm a business programs instructor. So what I did is I got with another marketing director who is in FBLA. And we said we also have National Society of Leadership and Success, NSLS, an advisor in our department. And we also have the culinary program under business divisions, and they have a culinary group. So we kind of pooled our resources to say that give us a business programs page and we can post, we can share it with other people, they can like our page. And then that way we have a Facebook page that isn't NTHS only, but it allows us to post for NTHS because they weren't going to give us one just by ourselves. And if I waited for SGA, it took too long to go up and come back down. This way I got authorization to be able to do that. So having our direct dean in business I have kind of like two people have to contact for different things, my dean and the SGA director. But that allows me to be able to post without having to get permission because I went through the training. There's other people are on there through our marketing department, so they can oversee and monitor and make sure that the site is active. So I know the do's and the don'ts of posting. So that was very helpful. I post on Facebook, hey, we're accepting new applications. We have a bunch of other pages with Fayetteville Tech, and people kind of like off of that or share it onto their page. And once it's on our page, we can share to our personal pages. We just can't share from personal to the school. So that allows us to kind of spread the word more because if I post on the main Facebook business, then the main Facebook for Fayetteville Tech will share it. And then it goes out to all those followers and it kind of really gets the word out for people who get inundated by email. You know what I mean? Because some people aren't going to check the email. So I try a bunch of different ways. We have a different lady on campus that we reach out to. We have digital boards. I don't know if y'all have any of those. They're like rolling boards throughout different buildings. They're little ones. They're just plug in. They're, floor models, but they have different things and they change. And then we have a big digital board for our sign out front. So I reached out to her and she'll put on there like we're receiving applications and it's in rotation with a bunch of other stuff, but I can get her to put that on there. So it's on that rolling board if we have it. So I send them an email. I get them to send out huge announcements on the campus alerts. It's on Facebook. And then it's on digital boards. So that's kind of how we recruit besides just word of mouth. Underneath, because I went through all the different things to get the web page, that was very helpful. We have over 55 clubs on campus, and we're the only club with a website. So it's a page on the Fayetteville Tech website, but when you go to SGA, the student government, it lists all of the organizations. I made us a hyperlink. I didn't, the webmaster did, but I had to get all the stuff together and go through all the hoops to get it. But me and another advisor, Dr. Lewis, we met with the web advisor at that time. And then we had to get up with a lot of different people to try to get the banner. And then at that time, it was a lot because they used a different thing called Script for auto payments, and not everybody used them. I liked Square. Um, and this is kind of a weird little thing. I wanted to go with Square because if I used it when I do my quarterly reports that we have to turn into our business office, I would have to turn in a report for a regular bank account, for Script, and for Square if I didn't use Square for the auto payments, because it can be a point of sale device when we sell stuff, but it also can be an online payment system when they did the automatic applications for our honor society. So having the web page, we have a hyperlink with the brochure. He automated the webmaster, our application, hooked it to Square. So when they apply online, the payment, now Square takes that 3% or whatever, but we charge more than the $30. We charge 45. So it's okay. It's not a lot. And the amount gets automatically put into our account, and then it sends us a confirmation. So we have the full application. It answers all the same questions as the physical form, but majority of ours now do it through the online application, and they can pay online. They can use a credit card, a debit card, any of those things. Because we do have Square, and we found out it was cheaper to not buy any of the devices. You can set it up on your phone. And I just gave it to all the other advisors. When somebody comes in, they can pay with their Apple Pay or Tap to Pay because we find that nobody has cash, nobody has checks. So it's really, really hard. Like, how are you even going to take the money? So having the website with the automatic application has really increased it, dropping it down from 3.25 to 3.0, allowing high school students, because our vice president is a high school student. I mean, they're very engaged. They show up virtually to meetings. They come in person. Some of the times they've even went on some of our field trips. But we do have that point of sale. We created a QR code, and that QR code is on our brochures. It's on, we have some big signs with NTHS, and it has the QR code. And so that allows them to scan that. And when they scan that, it can take them directly to our page, which has our brochure, tells them about it, gives them some pictures. It lists every one of us advisors. There's 8 of us. When I came on, there was only one other gentleman. We brought on Dr. Lewis, and then that next year he stepped down. And as we grew in these 2.5 years, Miss Strickland came on, and Miss Parker came on, and Mr. Locklear came on, and Mr. Lamb came on, and Miss Stevens. And so we have, like I said, Miss Register, we have 8. And so I'm happy to say that they all have roles and they all do kinds of things. That's answering the recruitment question, but the funds, when I started, we were only getting at my old college, they did it a percentage of student activities through SGA. They automatically put money in my account fall and spring, nothing for summer. It was several $100s, a lot more than I get here automatically. And it automatically went in my account. So that gave us wiggle room, and we only charged $30. Here, because we're so big and we want to be very active, we upped it to 45 because they said we could charge additional. And that gives us money, way more money than what we get from the school. We can apply for the 150. We got them to start doing it fall and spring, but originally they were only doing 150 and they only had a certain amount they could run out. So now our school, for all the clubs, they can apply and get it twice a year. So that's $300. We do that every time we can. We have to have a reason. It's not automatic. You have to fill out a form. We found out that there's a special request money. I actually found it. There was a form, and we didn't even know. They didn't even know it existed. I guess so many people, you know how you have forms out there underneath your portal. I found it, and it was a special use every 3 years. And so they honored it. And at that time, they wanted us to decorate a Christmas tree, and we needed one. And so I applied for $400 to get a tree and some ornaments. And after that, they used me as an example at the meeting that up to $400 every 3 years, you could potentially get some extra pot of money based on if they approve it and things like that. So in these 2.5 years, I have gotten the $400. I get the 150 every semester. And then Our foundation office, I don't know about y'all's school, but ours is really good about having mini grants for faculty and staff. So they listen to whatever you want to put out, and it's $500, up to 500. And so I've applied for it 4 times. I've received them fully um, for the full 500 twice. The third one I've been approved, but there's a little hiccup. One I did not, but I've applied every time it comes open. And so with that 500, I have purchased with that mini grant money a canopy. So when we go out and do events or fundraisers or work at Spring Fling, we have a canopy if we need to use it. A big pull cart, because like say you're selling food or you're giving away brochures and maybe we've done all kinds of different activities. You'll hear that in a minute, but just carrying the stuff different places, you needed something to carry it with. So I went to Academy Sports and we got the pull cart. I ordered some off of Amazon because we don't have to go through e-procurement at this school. I had to go through e-procurement at my old school. Not going through e-procurement is lovely because you can order from Amazon with a debit card, not a budget code. It's completely different. But we got dishes that we reuse for induction. We got tablecloths. We've ordered some of the monogram NTHS ones through the NTHS site. We got extra NTHS stickers to give away to different members and when they come in with that money. We've got them to go through a marketing firm and we got NTHS pins and we did business cards, but we got magnets that we could also give away that has our QR code. So all of that promotional material and supplies that make us not have to keep ordering it every time. Like we got several tablecloths we can reuse. We got several dishes we could reuse. Um, we've done different dinners and stuff. We got crock pots we could reuse. I literally have a storage closet over here that we have full with carts, fold-up tables, decorations, all kinds of stuff. And we did that a lot through the mini grants and the 15 extra dollars because we paid for a lot of students when we go because a lot of them don't have the extra money for food or entrance. With that extra 15, we keep some back for when we go on field trips. We can help pay some of their entrance fees. We're not allowed to pay for our own, but we can pay for theirs, and we try to do that as much as we can. So we raise money through Spring Fling. We did we've done 2 spirit nights already. We have another one on the books in March. We've done Chick-fil-A. We've made almost $800. We've done Jersey Mike's. We made somewhere around $300, and we're getting ready to do a Buffalo Wild Wings. So you hear those once a night things or all day things, if they'll give you a percentage of sales, we market them just like we do recruiting new students. And we've managed to bring in a decent amount of money through that. We've tried selling pizza next door. We'd sell pizza on Wednesdays by the slice. We have a really good bakery in town that would give us free croissants, and we would sell those for extra money. And then what we sell at Fall Festival, and we've had candy sales. We've done the discount cards. You know how like um what do you like different I've seen it more with like youth, like what do you got, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or different agencies like that. They'll sell you those pre-made cards and it has like 20 things on there, or you could go online. Those discount cards, you get them for like $10 each and you sell them for $20. So you're making $10 a card. So we just did that, and I think we made $1,000. So I think it cost, they pay 2,000. We only paid 1,000 for them, and we made 1,000. And they gave you a couple extra if you buy them all at once. So I think we made an extra 200. Maybe it's like $1,200. Um, the third mini grant we got, we applied for tablets. And what we're trying to do, because most of what our money is, and you'll see in a minute about our activities, we've funded a endowed scholarship. So we're trying to raise lots of money because we're a big school, and y'all can see in the news about student loan debt. We're trying to get some scholarships ongoing. But tablets, if you raffle them, there's rules and laws, and we're having to go through. We've gotten approved to get 3 tablets. That would be within the $500, and then the students could use it to do their work or check their email or do this or do that. But because they jump on our system, we've had to get IT involved because if we're using our monies, they have to approve the purchase and what brand. Then we have to go through our attorney on campus, and we do have a attorney on campus, not just a contracted attorney. He has to approve it because there's rules and regulations on how often um, a nonprofit can do a raffle. So that's another way that we earn money. So that was the funds one. Now we're on to induction. That one's really short. Like I said, we recruit all year. Even if I don't send it up, if you once I induct March 25th, the last person I take is February 25th. I'm going to induct March 25th. If anybody joins in between there, I just say, we'll see you next March, hopefully. And I'll take them 24/7 and we keep adding them. We use Canvas as our LMS. So as we get new applicants, we add them to a Canvas NTHS site. So it looks like a course. They have to accept it just like all the other courses. It shows up on their dashboard. So that's how I communicate with my existing members, how I can keep up with them. So they can apply throughout the year. They can find out and participate in anything we're doing. I just have to cut off at some point, you're not in this induction. And so that's what we do for it.
Joe,
So
can I pause you
activities.
real quick?
Yeah.
I think we wanted to give people, you've had so much really amazing information. I want to give people a chance to ask questions before they forget them. So based on the things that she's talked about so far and relating it back to your programs, if you have any questions for Audra, that we can answer, you feel free to type them in a chat or feel free to unmute and spit them out. There's only, there's 27 of us, so I think that we won't be talking over each other too much. Go ahead and take a moment and ask those questions. I did want to ask a clarifying question while everyone else is kind of gathering their thoughts and questions.
Mhm.
Earlier, when you were talking about recruitment, and I think it was the SSE system, is that what it was?
Watermark.
So is that a community college specific like student like what is that? I just don't know myself. And does everyone else
Um,
know what that is and have some a similar product?
I don't know
our
what it
student,
is.
say that one more time. Was that Candace?
I'd never heard of it either.
Some people know it as watermark. Some people know it as student success and engagement, but it's one of those that you could do academic alerts. You could see, it's a really great system to be able to see who their advisor is. We can send messages, emails. It has a text feature, so I don't have to use my cell phone and I can send them it only lets you do like 100 characters or something.
We
But
use Navigate. It allows us to track students, enter messages when we meet with them, send mass emails. We can create reports or cycle just certain lists. Like we
uh-huh,
can do a list of all STEM students and it'll pop out every major that has a STEM student. You can filter it down to STEM students that only have a GPA of this. And that's how I filter. And I
uh-huh,
send out a mass email now open. You can now register and sign up for NTHS. So, and I do, and then you can also in ours set it if you want the same email sent, you can put it on an email cycle so it will automatically blast email on a cycle. And I send all of my newsletters go out on Fridays at 4 p.m. and it just auto sends boom, boom, boom. So I harass them for a month straight leading into when they can even start applying. Every Friday they're like, hey, it's coming up. Hey, 2 weeks down, 3 weeks down, it's here. So
Um,
because our students don't read emails.
I know students like that as well. I was going to say, I'm going to, and thank you so much for your input. And Audra, I'm going to show some slides from some of your activities.
mhm.
We do want to have the last few minutes to talk about some leadership development ideas too. I was going to cover.
I'm so
But
sorry. When I
no,
did this in
you're doing,
person,
you're great.
I
You're
read
great.
it and I was too fast. So then I was like, oh, now I'm too long and you didn't hear all our activities. And
Um,
we killed it.
well, these are some pictures from a lot of Audra's activities that they've had at Bevel State. And so she does her chapter does a lot. And so that was why we invited her today to kind of help us because I was a high school advisor and I didn't really have the experience from the post-secondary level, so we really appreciate. But she has lots of activities. I was going to say it is just in an effort to conserve some time, if this is okay, Audra. Y'all can go ahead and post, chat any questions in. Is it okay if I go ahead and kind of just mention some leadership development stuff? Because I know you said you were hot in your office too.
100
But
degrees, I promise you, it's hot.
and is it okay if when I send out an email that I give them your email address if they had any questions for you?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that when we send out. Um, but we really do appreciate, you can obviously see Audra's passion for NTHS, so just thank her so much. And we do understand that every advisor kind of runs their chapter a little differently, especially on the post-secondary level. But we hope that Audra's information has given you a few practical ideas you can use at your institution. And like I said, kind of as we're talking, feel free to be putting Q&A questions in the chat. Christina and Renee, my colleagues, are on here, and they can kind of help answer. And Audra, you can help maybe answer some too while I'm talking. But I am going to shift a little bit to leadership development. We did want to kind of cover a little bit of that. And I want to let you know it already exists within your chapters in ways that are practical, meaningful, and easy to implement. And one of the biggest misconceptions about leadership is that it only applies to a small group of students with official titles. But NTHS leadership development is really about giving students ownership, responsibility, and opportunities to grow, no matter the size of your track or structure of your chapter. So I just want to walk through a few things. So first, I want to start with student leadership structures. So leadership doesn't have to mean a long list of officers or complicated bylaws. Many strong chapters begin with just a few clearly defined student roles. Officers, committee chairs, or short-term project leads give students opportunities to practice decision making and accountability. And some chapters actually rotate throughout the year their officer roles so that more students can participate, which I think is a great idea. And no matter what you do, as long as you give students, trust them with real responsibilities instead of them just having ceremonial titles, that helps students, to kind of zone in and foster their leadership abilities. Okay, so they can help plan meetings, organize activities, lead discussions, just anything to help them spark their leadership potential. Next, we've got career-focused leadership experiences. So NTHS is uniquely positioned to connect leadership directly to career readiness, obviously. So chapters involve students in coordinating guest speakers, organizing employee panels, leading mock interviews. There's just so many things. Students can be career pathway ambassadors at recruitment nights. They can involve themselves in resume workshops or budgeting projects or marketing campaigns tied to their CTE pathway. Those kinds of things will mirror what they're expected to do in the workplace. So leadership is not just about speaking up in front of a group, it's managing details, meeting deadlines, and collaborating effectively. So another area is services leadership. So service projects are often where leadership development happens naturally. And instead of assigning the task, advisors can allow students to kind of lead that process. Students might serve as a project manager, communications lead, or logistics coordinator for whatever you're doing. They work with community partners, manage timelines, and solve problems along the way. Now, the big thing that I want to kind of point out is that reflection is the key. After you have a project, guide those students to consider what went well, what was challenging, and how their leadership skills developed. And that reflection piece is really going to be what helps them. A couple of other things. Public speaking and professional presence. Public speaking doesn't mean they have to stand on a large stage. Leadership can start with small moments, and they might speak at an induction ceremony, or they might speak at a staff meeting, or they might represent NTHS at an advisory council or a school board meeting. They might help recruit future members by presenting to a class. So these experiences build confidence over time and help students develop a professional presence that they will use long after NTHS. Also, there's leadership through recognition. Recognizing others is a leadership skill. have your members recognize other members by what they're doing. They can kind of recognize them, do a member spotlight in social on social media, or that the students, the members, can present awards to other members at induction nights or end of year celebrations, so that they can see, they can recognize what their fellow members are doing. That reinforces values like gratitude, accountability, and encouragement while teaching students how to acknowledge others professionally. Okay, also there's outreach leadership. So when students explain NTHS to others, they fully step into leadership. Chapters may involve students in recruiting new members, leading information sessions, managing communication, or supporting social media efforts. And I had my kids to do this all the time. They'd host a table out in the commons area during lunches and have people come up and they tell them all about NTHS. That's leadership. Okay, so finally, leadership is strongest when there is reflection and growth. And I kind of mentioned reflection a little bit earlier, but leadership is not just about doing, it's about learning from the experience. And reflection activities can be simple, but they can mean a whole lot. This might include just a short discussion after the events, the end of year self-assessment, or a goal setting conversation led by your officers. Graduating members can reflect on how NTHS shaped their leadership journey. These reflections help students recognize their growth and give advisors strong examples to highlight chapters in reporting and with our awards application. Okay, so I kind of wrapped this up and I made it into a little handout and so I'm going to email everyone that registered the handout and the recording. So if you have any questions, once you look over that, I know I kind of went through some stuff fast, but we're always here to assist and to help. And we have ambassador advisors like Audra Harris that kind of help us too because we have ideas, but we get other ideas from our other advisors. Then that's why we love to hear from you. And if you're not in our advisor Facebook group, please join because we love when people interact and post in there. So I have not been looking at the chat. At this time, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. I know some of you might need to go, and that's okay. If you want to put your question in the chat, I am going to stay on and read through them and answer them. And then, like I said, we can list that in the recording. So, and also, let's see. Christina. Oh, good. Christina put the Facebook group in there. And Renee, if you could drop in, we actually have like a quick feedback survey for the webinar. Renee's going to drop that in too. But if anyone has any questions that they want to put in, you can put in questions or ideas that you have. Thank you, Renee. So that form's it would literally take you 1 minute and we would love for everybody on the call to fill that out. It just kind of helps us to kind of evaluate, how are these webinars going and, do we need to do things differently and that kind of thing. So please, and don't be afraid to ask a question because I promise you that somebody else probably has the same question you do. So please put questions in the chat if you have any. I'm gonna wait just a minute for that. Christina, you want to say?
Yeah, I was gonna say before anyone rolls off, I know it's getting around that time, and I know that people are gonna ask questions and everything, and we're happy to stay on. I just want to give Audra Harris a round of applause and say thank you for all the amazing information. I'm sure that everyone else is gonna have lots of more questions for you because you are doing so much. So if you are in the chat, send her a thumbs up or a thank you because I do really want to appreciate all the hard work that you put into both your chapter and for presenting here today. Thank you so much, Audra.
Ditto what she just said. Absolutely. We do really appreciate it. And we know that the post-secondary some are like her school is very large and some are not so large, which she has she has the outlook from both situations. So she's a good resource if we need to ask questions of her in the future. So I was going to say again, you got time to drop any questions in the chat. Don't feel like we're rushing you. We're not. But if you, before you log off, if you could complete that survey, we would really appreciate it. And I will stay on in case anybody else needs to log off. On the screen right now is a QR code that links to our chapter highlights form. And we love when advisors put whatever you're doing in there. We like to feature you when we can. And so fill that out whenever you'd like to. We are recording this session, and so like I said, I will send that out to all the registrants and along with the leadership development little handout that I came up with. And we thank you all so much for joining us today. And we will continue to be having monthly webinars throughout the school year, and we're going to cover different topics. And the survey gives you the opportunity to say things that you'd like to hear about. So please include that information as well. And we hope that you'll join us again. And thank you again, Audra Harris. I actually saw there was another Audra on the call. I thought three Audras on one call. That is crazy.
I hate that we didn't get to the activities because I was curious to see some of the other activities that other people might be doing. So
I
maybe
was going to say, I'm going to back up. If you want to, if you have a minute and you want to take the time to tell us about any of your activities, I put them back up on the screen.
well, I mean, and I wrote it all down in 2.5 years. I had to go back and look at like my little forms because you had to fill out all those forms and send up the chain of command for field trips. We went to bowling, Carolina Poe House, the State Fair, the Airborne Museum, the Battleship, the Botanical Gardens. We went to various restaurants. We usually attach a restaurant to a field trip. We collected food for the food pantry. We collected hygiene products with the Social Justice Club, giving away hygiene kits at the H&H stand down to help homeless and food insecure people. We wanted to give back to the community. We had somebody who wanted to, we have a very beautiful grounds. Um, like the grounds maintenance and housekeeping staff, we cooked them a lunch, got door prizes and all kinds of things, and wrote them thank you notes and celebrated them. We did a kindness board in the library. Somebody wanted to do that where people wrote out like all kinds of different acts of kindness, and then they were supposed to pick one, sign their name or whatever, and just do acts of kindness. We collected clothing with the Sage Group on campus to give away clothes. We did a holiday social where we did games, gave away free popcorn. We've done the United Way meal packing event 3 years in a row. We participate in the holiday tree decorating contest on campus. We raised $15,000 for a scholarship that's endowed. So that means it goes on forever. So that's why we did a lot of our fundraising. I had two colleagues that passed away and I wanted to remember them. So that honors anybody in business programs. We raised $15,000. So now it'll go on forever. And we're about to have a huge celebration with their family because we finally have enough to give the first scholarship. And so we started another one for NTHS only students. Now we got to raise 15 more $1,000. But we're very excited about that. And that's why we do a lot of the spirit nights and things like that. We have a field trip to the zoo tomorrow. We're going to the Asheville Zoo. Mhm.
Oh, okay. I'm taking off and meeting her at the zoo. Thank you so much, Audra. That is great. I was going to say, one of our Julia, she and I told her to email me and I would give her, but do you have any tips for newbies? She said she's a brand new to advising and she's at a small chapter that isn't very active. And she's just kind of trying to figure out how to get started. So any quick tips on like how to
Find
get
out if there's
started?
any money anywhere. Will your SGA give you money? Will your foundation give you money? Do you charge more than that $30 for them to enter? If you don't, maybe you want to up it. Uh,
That's a good suggestion. I actually charged a little bit more even on the high school level.
yeah,
And whatever was over the $30, we got to keep in our local funds just
yeah.
for the advisors on there. We kept that in our local funds and we could use that for what it like if I wanted to do a pizza party for our NTHS, I used it for that. Or like she said, that she bought the tablecloth and some different materials. Well, when I had the extra money, I could do purchases like that as well. So
We're a big school, so when you're talking last year, we inducted 166 people. So This year we're on track. We're nowhere near that, but we're not over. And a lot of them come in at the end, but we're over 50. So I like to have big numbers because I know participation, because when you're that big of a school, when you got people doing clinicals and you got people doing rotating shifts for fire and rescue, it's hard to get a lot of people to do one thing. So we try to scatter what we do. What helped us a lot with participation in meetings was to have them in person and Zoom simultaneously. So that way, if you have high school and they can join, you have other people who are stationed somewhere else or vice versa, home with a kid, they could get on to get activity and more comments on what they wanted to do. If you go to Microsoft 365, if you have that, they have that option for forms. I create a lot of forms and send those out so I can get more feedback than just what we get at a meeting. And so we do get a lot of ideas because I still try to go back to this is student led. I'll help facilitate, and advisors do a lot of it. But y'all have got to give me the ideas to help support you. So having that fill in form and send it out to them with the QR code. They could either use the link or use the code. It seems to help participation. So,
And that actually, that's exactly what I did with my chapter is my members gave it, they did all the ideas. Hey, let's do this, do that. The other thing with if you do a form like that on the post-secondary level, I'm thinking if you think, oh, this is a cool idea, then say, hey, great, you present me a proposal. I'm gonna let you take care of this, and guess what? I'm gonna be able to write you a reference letter after that. I'm gonna have something detailed, not just generic.
yeah,
So
from that form,
let them do it.
that's
Like
how we
let
got the zoo idea. They said they wanted to do bowling. They wanted a holiday social to get together and play games. And I literally, because I left them in our multi-purpose room in the student center, after our time was up, I was like, there's people here. Y'all are grown. I'll see y'all later, because they were still playing games. You had your
Um,
popcorn, had your cocoa.
I
Feliz
will tell
Navidad.
you
Happy
one of
holidays.
the one of the best things that we've been able to do. We hit the holidays, so making Valentine goodie bags and selling, or even like when Mother's Day comes around, small little flowers. The daisies are the cheapest little flower to do, and just tissue paper.
Okay.
So, because it's right there, they're walking by. You can set up a little station outside on the sidewalks and just, sit there, and people grab as they're leaving for the day or leaving for class just so they can say, hey, I got you something.
Yeah.
that is a great idea. Thank you so much for chiming in with that.
But yeah,
Very true.
Valentine candy bags. And, a lot of art students are working parents. So those are little cheap $2 here. We have a 2, a 6, a 10, and a $20 package for like candies and stuff for Valentine's. And it goes from, we get those on Amazon. You can get those like white cardboard boxes that you just pop together. So that's like our, big package. And we'll do like candy and those little like, when Bath and Body Works goes really, really cheap for like hand sanitizer and like
Hmm.
lip gloss and stuff. We have our student org, because we can do what's called petty cash. We sit and just grab petty cash and go to Bed Bath and Beyond, or and just grab stuff that's like buy one get three free, kind of thing. And we stockpile and we throw that into like those bigger arrangements.
That is great. Thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything that they're doing that they want to tell about real quick? I love interaction, so I know that I'm typically one that's, you know, the
I
talker.
didn't
So
realize that many people didn't realize that you could do a field trip at the college level, because
I had no idea until you said that.
I've had other people saying, y'all do field trips, and I was like, they love it. It brings camaraderie. I'm introducing them to everywhere I've been, I've taken people who've never been to the restaurant, never been to the whatever, the airborne museum, the battleship, any of it. So they're learning everywhere I go.
And I don't mind jumping in and just, hey, I'm Julia, by the way.
Hey, Julia.
Um, hey, thank y'all for that. I love that. The woman who was doing it before, I only had a month with her before she retired, kind of unexpectedly. So she gave me like 3 big binders of stuff from the past 10 years and kind of passed it on. So I knew what she had planned, and I had this year because she had already planned everything out with them and all, but I'm kind of just finishing up. So I'm just trying to make plans for the coming year when I can hopefully generate more life into it. I feel like it's kind of a little dead on campus, really.
And
And we're
if
a
it's
small
dead,
campus anyway,
I
you
was going to
know.
say, if it's dead, that just gives you the opportunity
Right.
to make it your own, to kind of
That's how I'm
implement your
looking
own
at it.
thing.
I've already done a few things. I mean, I've got us, she just had to email us, but I've like got us a team site made and we're building and we're sharing. And I've put a lot in that in their hands, especially we had to do some reimbursement things and we had to file for our budget and stuff. So I've been putting that back on them and they are working in that team site together. But I only really have, right now, we should have about 50 that are sitting there, but only about 6 or 7 are really active. And I was like, oh, I was really disheartened, but they do show up and I have them pretty steady. So I'm happy with those 7, I think, out of 50 is maybe
I
good
was
to
going to
start.
say, and it's going to be that's normal.
Okay.
The other Audra will probably tell you that's normal too. That was
Well,
normal for
like
me and
Candace
mine.
said about the sweet treats or whatever, we have Spring Fling, and we've done it where we've helped pay for the stuff and they made the baked goods. We've done it where they've donated the baked goods. Hands down, if they donate, we make more money.
Mhm.
And so we will sell those at Spring Fling, and it goes. And that's a nice way to get them and to get participation. I don't care if you donate cases of water for me to sell, or you sit there and sell, or you actually make something. You can make something and drop it off, and you have too crazy of a schedule. You're still helping, right? There's people who
Yeah.
don't have the time or the money to make the product, but you can come and sell. So I always tell people your presence, your actions, or your money. We'll take either one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
our
Had to
school
guilt
is
trip them a little bit when I first started and sent them out the email. All right, this is what you all agreed to with Miss Lisa, and I just want to hold you to your promises. So let me know what I can do to help y'all make this happen. And so I think maybe I guilt tripped enough that I did have those pretty steady the past couple of meetings. Only had 2, and I mean, we'll see where it goes. But obviously, I do love all of the ideas, and I have some of my own too. So I'm hoping for a lot of growth next year.
And as you continue, things will grow, and you work with the students, because I was an advisor for 15 years. So, there were ebbs and flows. And so,
Mhm.
like I said, you'll kind of get to make it your own, and that'll be great. But
I'll tell you
Yeah.
um
one big thing we did at the small school that I didn't even mention is we already had a career closet here at Fayetteville Tech.
Mhm.
And when I was at RCC, I watched a PD on the career closet. So I went back and used my NTHS funds I got every semester, and I got them to give me a room, and I started the success closet at RCC. So the
I know
money
we have
that
a
I
career closet. Yeah.
got, I bought racks and coat hangers and different things like that. And then I got with financial aid and got the work-based students to help
Mhm.
volunteer. And then occasionally I would get some students to come in and help man it or do some stock or clean them, rearrange, stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, we do have a career closet here they always, I send them, they do an hour there or whatever because they have to get so many hours and we have to have so
yeah.
much participation and all, of course. But I didn't know that we have so many dual enrollments. I'm here in Ogeechee and Statesboro, and probably half of our student population is straight up dual enrollment. And that's what I teach the bulk of as an English teacher. And I had no idea that those high schoolers could be interested in this because I know for the FBLA chapter, they straight up told me no high schoolers, you have to be full college and all. So I didn't know National Technical Honor
Well,
Society would do that.
talk to your college, I would assume, and see what their requirements are because you have
Yeah,
NTHS.
I didn't even think to ask.
Yeah. Well, it would be sad to not have them, and they're technically an associate degree student, you know what I mean, or
Yeah,
on a pathway, and they might not have a chapter at their high school.
no,
That's
I
exactly
doubt
what
they
I
do.
was going to say, is that they might not have a chapter at their high school, and this would be their only way to get in. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, we're so rural where we are, and it's all small little high schools. We ferret 5 counties down into this one little tech college that we service. So we have a lot of very rural high schools, and I doubt many of them even have National Technical College. I've never even heard of it. So
Well, I've had
so
I had
more
no
high
idea.
school. I have just as many high schoolers show up to go on my field trips. They'll take a day off. They're like, I haven't had a field trip in forever. I had the cutest little culinary student ride with me to the battleship because we took the ferry over to Southport and ate at a really nice restaurant. And he hadn't been to any of them. He was thrilled.
well,
That's
we
all.
want to
looking if you're looking for career clothes, some tips because it's some if you does everybody have like an Al's formal wear near them?
Ow. Oh, how do you spell it?
Al's formal wear.
Mm-mm.
I don't think so.
So it is a place where you can rent like tuxedos and stuff like that.
Uh,
Anyway, about every other year, they go through and they completely trash all their suits that they've rented out. And they maybe have like a seam that needs to be resewed here and there, but they will actually donate for free. And you can get like hundreds of full suits, like the jacket, the pant, the vest, same suit, multiple sizes.
I'd be
Wow, that's
willing
So
to
good to
drive
know.
for that, Candace.
so I have driven. I've driven like 5 hours to do it. And I did
Yes.
that when I was an when I was an NHS sponsor, when I was a high school teacher. I'm now at the college. But yeah, I got 600 suits donated one year. And not only we kept some and I donated those, we called it the Hope Chest. And we had all formal wear for, our scholarship people, people going for interviews, for homecoming, for prom, all, because I was in a little underprivileged community, and our literally prom and stuff like that outpriced our kids. They could not afford to dress nice to go to prom. So we made prom free and we let them rent, suits and stuff to go to interviews, scholarships. They were getting a scholarship to a college to play football, but they wanted to wear something nice to that recruitment event. We, let it out, and we made a deal with our local uh, dry cleaner, and he would dry clean that stuff for us for free as his donation to our school.
That's lovely.
Wow, that
I
is
will
So
say, talking
awesome.
about lower income if they can't afford it, because we do have some
yes.
that have
And another
struggled.
thing you can do is go to your local Goodwill, because they sometimes get so much stuff that they can't keep it on the racks very long. Does that make sense? If you're in a big town, go to your local Goodwill and tell them who you are and say, "Hey, do you have anything that it just product that's not moving because Goodwill actually does throw away?"
Hmm. Okay.
Hmm. I wanted to mention before we go that Christina had started she put a post. This is in our Facebook advisor group, Christina.
Yes.
So that we could kind of start a network of post-secondary advisors. So if y'all will go find that post and comment under it so that we can kind of get y'all together. And any activities that you're doing, especially, make sure that you say, I'm a post-secondary chapter. Post them in there. We'd love because somebody kind of mentioned in the chat that most of the things in on the Facebook group are from the high school level, but we want to see the post-secondary level too. So make sure to go join that and like I said, post under it. But thank you so much. We really, really appreciate all the interaction and the talking. Thank you so much. This has been the best talking webinar that we've had so far, hasn't it, Christina? So
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for all
we
your
appreciate
participation.
you so much, and we're so glad that you have been on the call and you stayed on here. So thank you. If, like I said, if you think of anything later or something that you think would be a good idea, please shoot me an email. Whether you got a good idea, whether you've got a question, whatever. If we love hearing from you, and that way we know, hey, we can reach out to so and so, to Julia once she gets everything up and rolling next year, and get good ideas for others. So thank you so much. Thank you again, Audra, and we're probably going to wrap things up, but we so much appreciate y'all being on the call and the interaction and everything.
Thank y'all. I'm gonna
You
go
got
get
any
some.
last minute comments, Christina?
I don't. Thank you guys so much. Hope
Okay.
you have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
evening, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.